Hello everyone, my name is Linda. I am here again with a different and beautiful story. Before we delve into our story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap's Fantastic Adventures, The Great Desert Trek. One morning, Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap decided to explore the vast and boundless desert. This was going to be a completely new adventure for them. They left the cool and shaded environment of the forest for the sun-scorched, wide-open desert. Upon reaching the edge of the desert, they were amazed by the endless sand dunes stretching out before them. The sun shone on the sands, making the surroundings glitter like a golden sea. Nutsy felt exhilarated by this new and exciting environment, while Flap was more cautious, aware of the desert's challenges. They began their trek. As they advanced under the sun, they quickly started to discover both the beauty and the difficulties of the desert. The hot air, sandstorms, and lack of water sources showed that this adventure would not be easy. Along the way, they encountered some animals that live in the desert. A group of gazelles watched them curiously from a distance. Nutsy was fascinated by the elegance of these graceful animals. Flap wondered how the gazelles survived in the desert and how they met their water needs. Later, they saw a small lizard. The lizard was moving quickly over the hot sands. Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap wondered how this tiny creature could survive in the desert and decided to follow it. The lizard led them to a pile of rocks, where they found cool shade. This first stop taught them one of the secrets of surviving in the desert. Shade was crucial. Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap thanked the lizard and continued on their journey through the desert. As Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap continued through the middle of the desert, they began to feel the effects of the heat and thirst more intensely. Every step became harder under the scorching sun. Nutsy felt his energy draining, but Flap's encouraging words made them decide to keep going. While searching for water, they continued to discover the beauties of the desert. From atop a dune, they admired the magnificent view of the endless sea of sand. At that moment, they saw a caravan of camels in the distance. Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap followed the caravan, hoping to find water. When they approached the caravan, they met the guide. The guide shared tips for surviving in the desert. They learned how to find water sources, how to protect themselves from the heat, and how to prepare for the cold nights. The guide also informed them about other animals that live in the desert. Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap learned about the speed of ostriches, the intelligence of foxes, and the survival skills of scorpions. Each animal had found a way to adapt to the harsh conditions of the desert. After saying goodbye to the guide, Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap decided to continue their journey. In the evening, the color of the desert changed, and the sky turned crimson. As the sun set, the desert began to cool, and they started looking for a place to spend the night. Eventually, they found a sheltered spot among the sand dunes and prepared a shelter for the night. The cold and silence of the desert night were comforting after the day's challenges. Under the stars, Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap shared the excitement of discovering the secrets and beauties of the desert. During the cold and starry desert night, Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap spent the night in their shelters. When morning came, The desert was once again hot and bright. The duo, at the beginning of a new day, were determined to find a way out of the desert. As the sun rose, the temperature began to climb. Using the survival skills they learned the previous day, Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap continued their search for water. Along the way, they continued to discover the desert's unique beauties. After a while, they saw an oasis on the horizon. The oasis was filled with green trees, vibrant plants, and most importantly, life-giving water. When Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap reached the oasis, they felt a great sense of happiness and relief. While resting at the oasis, they realized that they had survived the challenges of the desert. At the oasis, they also encountered other animals living in the desert. A group of gazelles was cooling off around the water. Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap spent time with the gazelles and other animals, learning about the ecosystem of the desert and how a balance was maintained in this harsh environment. This adventure showed Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap the fine line between nature's hardship and beauty. The desert was both merciless and mesmerizing. They had learned ways to survive in the desert and increased their respect for nature. As the day ended, Squirrel Nutsy and Owl Flap left the oasis and began their journey back to the forest. Leaving the desert, they looked back at the sand dunes one last time. This adventure had taught them valuable lessons about survival skills, the power of nature, and its beauty. Our story ends here. Friends, if you are curious about the continuation of the story and other stories, subscribe to our channel. Wishing you always live your dreams. Goodbye.
Our story ends here, friends all. If you're curious about mysteries, subscribe to our channel.